Hello and welcome back to another Dare to Game video. Today we're playing Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 and we're doing another video for the Legacy of the Forge DLC, and we're going to be going through ranking, and I'll be briefly telling you either how or where to get each weapon. So there are 12, or at least I'm pretty sure there's 12 unique weapons that have been added with this DLC, and I'm going to be going through and ranking them from 12 to 1. 12 being the worst, 1 being the best, and like I said, we'll be going down and I'll briefly explain either how or where to get this one. A lot of them are going to be quest linked, so keep in mind you can't just run to a store and buy any. So let's just start her off with number 12. So number 12 is a mace, and it is the Buchar Mace. Now keep in mind, most of the weapons in this video are going to be fairly good weapons. All of them I would consider top tier. Even the ones that are ranked fairly low, they're still very good compared to a lot of the weapons that already existed in the game. So this one says, this head is laughing at you because it'll be the last thing you see in this life if you stand in its way. Has a minimum strength of 12 and agility of 7 to use, does a stab damage of 19, slash damage of 0, blunt damage of 104, has a defense stat of 95, durability of 88, and a weight of 3.7 pounds. It is a cast, I would assume, bronze mace, and that is how you can get your hands on it. So, in this DLC, one of the people that you can recruit to your forge is someone that can run a foundry for you, and once you have him there, all you need is to have the correct schematic, and you can get cast this weapon for you. So, the Buchar Mace is obtained through the caster's schematic number 1, and where I found that schematic was in the final thief mission. It was one of the rewards. So after I went all the way through the Sinners of Kuttenberg questline, which I have a video, I don't know if I've put it up yet, but I will have it soon on the channel if I don't have it already, that shows that whole quest line. But at the very end of that story, the final story mission, one of the quest rewards will be the Caster Schematic 1, and once you get that, you can have this made for you. So that is how you get your hands on the Buchar Mace, which comes in at number 12. Coming in at number 11, we have the Calvaria Axe, which is a new unique axe that was added to the game. It's as a light, well-forged battle axe on a long haft, shaped after the weapons used by Turkish riders. The axe head is fitted with a wide edge for smashing enemy skulls, which is where its Latin name originates. On the field of Kosovo, it is said the heathen stacked 2 towers of Christian head, between which the victorious Sultan's army marched for a whole day. This one has a minimum strength of 14 and agility of 9 to use, does no stab damage, but has a slash damage of up to 112 and a blunt damage of up to 63. Has a defense stat of 134, durability of 186, a weight of 5.8 pounds, and overall I think looks very cool. It's one of the better looking axes in the game, so definitely good aesthetically speaking. As far as how and where to get your hands on this one, I got the schematic for crafting the Calvaria Axe at the second to last investigation mission. So when doing the In the Service of Kuttenberg storyline, there are a number of story missions through there, and the second to last one, the penultimate one, is where I ended up finding this in a, I don't remember if it was a chest at the end, but I think it was a quest reward, but that's where you get it from. So almost near the end of the investigation storyline is how you can get your hands on the crafting schematic for the Calvaria Axe. And coming in at number 10, we have Durendull, which is a fun pun based on Durandull, the legendary sword of both Charlemagne and the legendary hero Roland. So this one is one of 3 that you can get from a trader who goes around selling artifacts, and once you buy the broken weapon from him, you can craft it for yourself. This one, it says, if Charlemagne held this piece of junk in his hand, it would fall off in shame. God forbid he gave it to anyone. So, as funny as the roasting that Henry does for this sword and one other one that we'll be looking at shortly, they work. I've tested them both out. They work fairly well. And while they're definitely not top tier weapons, they're pretty solid enough. You can kill people relatively easy with them, as long as you have it in good shape and crafted it to level 4 like I did. So it has a minimum strength of 8 and agility of 10 to use this one. It does a stab damage of 114, slash damage of 109, and a blunt damage of 22. Has a defense stat of 168, durability of 107, and a weight of 2 pounds. So like I said, this one will be the second in a series of 3 that you get from a NPC. I'll be putting up a video showing that at some time in the next couple days here, but basically he shows up to your forge throughout the process, and all you have to do is talk to him and buy the weapon stub from him and you do that 3 times to get through the series of all 3 of the weapons that you can get from him. So Durendull is actually the second one, and that one comes in at number 10. Now let's move on to number 9. And at number 9 we've got another one in that same vibe, Fakescalibur, which is of course just Excalibur, but Henry, very clever name for it. So it says this thing might be enough to prove royal blood in Upper Hungary, but in England it would be thrown in the scrap metal. So this one is really similar to the last one. basically same stats. So we have got a minimum strength of 8 and agility of 10 to use. Does a stab damage of 114, slash damage of 109, blunt damage of 22, has defense of 168, durability of 107, and a weight of 4.4 pounds. So same thing. This one is actually the first weapon that you'll get from that NPC that shows up. And like I said, it's about the same as the last one. I think this one's got a slightly better name, which is why I put it ahead, but that's pretty much it. There's nothing else that distinguishes the two swords. They're both very mid-tier weapons. But that is number 9. Let's move on to number 8. And number 8, we have the Basilisk Warhammer. This one says, whoever looks into its eyes will turn to stone and crumble into dust. It has a minimum strength of 15, minimum agility of 8, does a stab damage of 36, slash damage of 0, and a blunt damage of 129. Has a defense stat of 125, durability of 225, and a weight of 7.2 pounds. So this one can be obtained through the Caster Schematic 2, and that one I got in the final investigation mission way at the end of the In the Surface of Kuttenberg one. In fact, I found it in the chest. So once you're down in the cave looking for your goods, it'll be in the chest at the back of the section where, you know, all your goods are, the schematic for it. Then you just have to bring it back to your forge and have your guy cast the weapon for you. So that's how you get your hands on the Basilisk Warhammer, which comes in at number 8. Let's move on to number 7. At number 7, we have a one-handed sword, which is St. George's sword, which is exciting to see because St. George's sword was the best two-handed sword in the first game. So this one says, this weapon comes from your own forge. The blade bears an inscription inlaid in red gold. The crossguard and pommel are decorated with flames and a severed dragon's head, evoking the victory of St. George, patron of all knights, over the dragon. Has a minimum strength of 12 and minimum agility of 14 to use. Has a max stab damage of 129, slash of 136, and blunt damage of 20. Has a defense stat of 278, durability of 110, and a weight of 2.8 pounds. So very, very good sword, one of the best one-handed swords in the game, and it also looks fantastic. So this is one that you can craft, and you can craft it once you get the schematic for it. The schematic is one that you will first get through an investigation, and I had it happen on both of my playthroughs, so I'm gonna assume it's consistent, where the investigation is for some bandits that attacked and killed a smith, and you are going to find the orphan's inheritance. Once you've done that, and you find this schematic in the chest, which will be one of the things that the smith wants you to bring back to him, it will start spawning as a random reward in chest for all of the investigation missions. Once I got it the first time, I picked up like 4 more schematics for St. George's sword, you know, within a relatively short amount of time. But that is how you can get your hands on the schematic to craft this one. At number 6, we have the Owl's Claw Sabre, which is a new unique saber. It says, a beautiful saber that belonged to a knight named George called Owl. You're unlikely to find another quite like it. Has a minimum strength of 17 and agility of 20 to use. Does a stab damage of 104, slash damage of 130, and blunt damage of 32. Has a defense stat of 275, durability of 230, and a weight of 2.5 pounds. So this one is fairly straightforward to get your hands on it. It is the final reward in the Friendly Bouts Radiant questline, which is where you go around challenging people to duels. You will run into Sir George, the Night Owl, 3 times, and if you beat him all 3 times, upon doing it the 3rd time, he will give you this saber along with a shield. So that's how you can get your hands on this weapon. At number 5, we have the Lion's Roar Kilij, a single-edged Turkish blade resembling a saber, but thanks to its widened tip, it strikes with far more force. The pommel bears the image of Aslan, the lion symbol of ancient kings, for only they were said to have brought him down. This Kilij seems fit for one of the boy Sipahis, the cursed captains of heathen knights. Has a minimum strength of 15 and agility of 19 to use, has a max stab damage of 110, slash damage of 137, and blunt damage of 34, has a defense stat of 242, durability of 210, and a weight of 2.8 pounds. So this one is one that you can craft. You can craft it once you get the schematic, and the schematic for this one can be found in the Final Thief mission. So when you're doing the Sinners of Kuttenberg, once you've completed that story, you will be gifted with several schematics. One of them will be the Lion's Roar Kilij. So once you have it, you can craft it, but that's number 5. And number 4, we have the Blacksmith's Guild Longsword. Longsword forged as part of the Kuttenberg Blacksmith Guild entry trial, primarily used for ceremonial purposes. Getting your hands on this one is easy, so I'll talk about it right away. To start the DLC and get your way into the Blacksmith's Guild, you have to prove that you can forge this sword up to a, high enough quality level. Once you've done that, you can craft it as many times as you want after that, and I crafted myself a level 4 variant. So this one has a minimum strength of 14 and agility of 13 to use, has a max stab damage of 150, slash damage of 143, and blunt damage of 29, defense of 252, durability of 297, and a weight of 2.4 pounds. So overall, pretty solid weapon. It looks a lot visually like, I believe, the dueling longsword, but stat-wise it's pretty good, and of course it's cool to be running around with a guild longsword. So that is number 4. Let's move on to number 3. At number 3, we have the Lingua Belli Longsword. This weapon hails from your own forge, a light, well-balanced long blade, sturdy, not only thanks to the steel used, but also the double fullering technique. It's the sharp tongue of war, Lingua Belli, which proclaims the truth of he who wields it. Has a minimum strength of 15 and agility of 14 to use, does a max stab damage of 163, slash damage of 171, and blunt damage of 33. Has a defense stat of 275, durability of 225, and a weight of 3.6 pounds. So it is a ridiculously good longsword, one of the best weapons overall in the entire game. As far as this one, it is one that you will be able to craft once you've gotten the Lingua Belli Longsword schematic, and the place where I found this was in the final investigation mission, once again in the chest at the back of the cave. So if you follow through the In the Service of Kuttenberg mission quest line, eventually you will get to a point where you're down in a cave looking for supplies, and it will be in the chest in the back of that cave. So that's that one. Our runner-up at number 2 is the Longsword of the Four Evangelists. This one is the third one that you'll get from the guy that you got the Durendull and Fakescalibur from. If you go through those first two and don't throw a fit or whatever and make sure that he keeps coming back, eventually he will bring you a good weapon, and it is a very good weapon. It is this longsword, obviously, that we're showing you right now. It says a beautiful longsword with engravings of the four evangelists, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. According to tradition, each has a supernatural attribute. Matthew is depicted as an angel, Mark as a winged lion, Luke as a winged bull, and John as an eagle. It has a minimum strength of 15 and agility of 14 to use, stab damage of 161, slash damage of 168, blunt damage of 32, defense of 235, durability of 180, and a weight of 5 pounds. So this one is quite cool and fairly simple and straightforward to get. You just got to keep doing those missions when that guy shows up to your forge. And the third one will be this sword, so that's how you get your hands on it. But that is our number 2, our runner-up. Let's move on to number 1. And at number 1, I don't know if you want to call it a joke. I was going to put this one in an honorable mention because I don't really use the guns in this game, but it does have the highest damage stat of any weapon in the game, beating out the previous winner for that, which was also a gun. So the Pushko's Push'em. It says Pushko's ultimate sure-hit enemy mauler. It resembles a hook gun, but thanks to a better shaped chamber, it has less recoil, so more force goes directly into the shot. Who knows, maybe in a few years these firearms really will be good for something. So this one has a power of 655, which is absolutely absurd, has a durability of 20 and a weight of 9 pounds. This one is one that will be cast by, Pushko, your casting apprentice or your foundry apprentice. So to do this, you have to have him at your place, but once you do, all you have to do is find the schematic. I found the schematic very early in my second playthrough. In my first playthrough, I didn't find it. So I think it was in one of the first investigation missions. I found it in one of the chests with the ingredients or the crafting ingredients that I needed to recover. I believe that's where, but it's the only schematic that I did not remember to note down exactly when and where I found it. So I wish I could be more helpful there, but that's all I remember. But that is all 12 of the new weapons that have been added with the Legacy of the Forge DLC. Obviously, this gun is not my favorite. I don't use guns at all. I just put it at 1 because of the ridiculous damage. Overall, these are some pretty cool weapons. I love that they added some more sabers. I think that this axe is very cool looking. The Basilisk Warhammer and Buchar Mace are both very beefy, and I love that. And of course, as someone who loves using longswords, we got quite a bit of variety. We got, obviously, Fakescalibur and Durandull aren't all that exciting, but the Blacksmith's Guild Longsword, the Lingua Belli, and the Longsword of the Four Evangelists is very, very cool. And seeing St. George's Sword make a return to Kingdom Come Deliverance is also very exciting. But that's all the weapons for the Legacy of the Forge DLC. Hope you enjoyed this video, found it useful. But that's all for today, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching another Dare to Game video. If you liked this video, please leave a like and a comment. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the channel. If you like my content and would like to support this channel, consider becoming a member today for as little as $1.99 a month. It makes a huge difference. But in any case, thanks for watching and have a nice day. I'll see you next time.